Hello guys, Grumpy. Welcome back to another Feed the Beast tutorial. Today we're going to be covering the assembly table and the laser. They work together. Basically the lasers power the assembly table. And the assembly table is just used to craft stuff. Mostly you're going to use it to craft pipe wires, pipe gates, and facades. First of all, let me show you what the facade looks like. Here's a facade. This is a yellow wool facade. If you want to know all the different facades, basically there's dozens of different types. Just a top facade in the recipe book, and then it'll show you the recipe on however you want to make it. But anyway, there's a yellow facade. Let me show you what it looks like out in the world. Now these things are kind of cool, but they do have a limited use. Here it is right here. This is a yellow wood facade. Basically they're used to cover up pipes, so they can only go into a block that already has a pipe in it. So they have very limited use. The Redstone, the Red Power 2 covers, they're more versatile. These things right here have limited use. Probably about the only thing I would use them for is, like, say if you want to build a trench and you're going to put a pipe here, but the trench is only 1 deep, but you don't want the pipe showing, you could put the pipe down and put a facade over the top. It's probably about the only use I can think for them. Personally, I don't mind having my machinery showing. I think it looks cool, so yeah, I don't know why you'd want to cover it up. Some people like that. They like the machines all hidden, would just like the machine itself showing. But I like to see the machinery. But anyway, once again, here's the assembly table. A very straightforward recipe. It's going to take some diamonds though. You got to have a diamond in the middle and a diamond gear, which takes 4 diamonds to make one of those, I believe. Have obsidians on the side and redstone. And also too, you're going to need the laser. That one's very straightforward too. I believe it takes 2 diamonds. There we go, 2 diamonds, 2 obsidian, and 5 redstone. Basically these lasers, they run off of MJ power, so you got to hook engines up to them. Now I do not have engines hooked up to mine. To mine I have redstone energy cells. They're basically like a battery for MJ power, the power that the engines put out. This sort of acts like a battery, but it acts like a battery in an engine. But anyway, that's redstone energy cells. I have a tutorial on it if you want to check it out. I'll put an annotation on the video and a link in the description. But anyway, let's go back to this assembly table. Now this assembly table, if we look at it, the way this works is anything you want to craft, you've got to put raw materials to build it over here. And so I have all these raw materials stored in the table right now. Now what this assembly table does, it looks at all your raw materials and it figures out what it can make out of those raw materials, and the recipes automatically pop up over here. So with the stuff I have in the table right now, I can make these 5 different items. Right now I am making redstone diamond chip sets, and the way this works is you can see a progress bar right here. These lasers are filling this progress bar up. When it fills up all the way, this bar will drain and it will craft one of these redstone diamond chip sets. Now you can also see it over here on the right. First of all, you can see the energy rate, 16.8 MJ per tick. Basically these lasers, each one of them can put out 4 MJ per tick. And this MJ is being stored right here. You can see the storage. Now once this thing hits 80,000, it'll craft one of these items and this will go back to 0. Now for the particular item I'm crafting, it tells you that it takes 80,000 MJ. So when this thing hits 80,000 here in a second, this will go back to 0 and we'll get one of those chip things. Okay, now let me break this forward and I'm going to show you how this works beneath. Okay, now this assembly table does not have a storage area for its output. So what it'll do is it'll just throw its output out on the ground, and if you don't pick it up, it'll despawn. So what you need to do, if you don't want that to happen, is hook a pipe up to the bottom side and then have it come up into an output chest, just like I have here. It doesn't require an engine to suck it out, it automatically comes out, but I have a gold pipe there to accelerate it, and then just a bunch of stone transport pipe. And so anything gets crafted automatically goes into this chest right here, and here you can see some items I've already crafted. There's redstone diamonds, chipsets. Now as far as power goes, I will go over power briefly again. Once again, these things require 4 MJ per tick to run at maximum power. And as you can see here, I have 2 redstone energy cells, each one of them set for 8 MJ per tick out. So this one's producing 8, 4 is going here, and 4 is going here. This one right here is also producing 8 MJ per tick. and it's going here, and it's going here. Now let's show you how I'm getting this power. Kind of got to be careful chopping this up because you can tear your machinery up pretty easy. Okay, here we go. Now I have two electrical engines right here. Now I have power coming in from right here. You can see it. There's my electricity coming in, feeding the back side of the electrical engines. Now let me right click on these electrical engines. Now by default, the electrical engine puts out 2 MJ. I want mine to put out 8 MJ, so I use a large circuit board. I can't remember which electron tubes I have in there. I believe it's copper, bronze, and something else. So basically I've got one electron tube that increases the MJ by 2, another one increases by 4. By default it puts out 2, so 2 plus 2 plus 4 is 8. So each one of these two engines is putting out 8 MJ per tick, so they're putting out the perfect amount of power to power up the lasers. Now as you can see, there's an electrical electron tube in the middle too. It says reduces intake by 1 EU per tick. I always recommend using that one because it just lowers your power consumption a little bit, not by much, but as long as you've got an empty slot, why not use it? A large circuit board can handle 3 electron tubes. So here we go. This is what I'm putting in there for my electrical engine. So you can pause it right there if you want and take a note of that, but basically you want your engines to put out 8 MJ. Now the next thing I have right here, in case you're not familiar with that, that is called Redstone energy conduit, and basically it just carries MJ power. So basically what it's doing is connecting these two engines to these Redstone energy cells. Now here's one thing to note. By default, all the sides of an energy cell are pretty much set to output. So if you look right here, there's a little arrow. Let me right click it and you'll see it change. There we go. Look at the top there, you can see an arrow changing. Now if I set it that way, it feeds MJ power into it. If I click it again, I'm right clicking by the way, it's making this energy cell put out power to the bottom. So I want to make sure both those arrows are pointing up so that these are inputs. And so these two electrical engines charge these two energy cells. And so if you didn't want to do this, what you could do, if you don't want to use this Redstone energy cells, you could put an engine on all your lasers, and what you want to do, by default each engine puts out 2 MJ. You could just put that top electron tube up in there that increases your output by 2 MJ per tick, or you can, all different kinds of ways you can do it. You can use conductive pipe, have and then use one engine to power 2, however you want to do it, but basically that's the setup now. So each one of these lasers is getting 4 MJ per tick. Now you know these lasers at maximum power. Let me show you something here. We're going to shut this one energy cell off, and here in a minute you're going to see the laser shut down. Perhaps. Probably has to drain his power first. There we go. Okay, so now this thing's off. Now let me watch me turn this up real slow, see what happens. So there's 1 MJ. You can see right there we get a red laser beam. Now that's telling you that it is putting out power, but it's really slow and it's not running at maximum speed. Let's turn it up another notch. Actually, I think I screwed up and turned it down. Okay, so it's still running at red. There it goes to yellow. Next, I believe it'll go green. There's green. And there's blue. Now I did this with only one laser hooked up, so you do want to go ahead and hook this up too. Go ahead and set it at 8, just like that. But anyway, that's how you power it and everything. And so just look in the recipe book, top in gate or whatever. So let me come over here. Top in like a chipset, and you'll see all kinds of recipes, or you can top in gate and show you all kinds of recipes, but I'll show you one top gate. It's kind of an extensive subject, so it's beyond the scope of just one tutorial video, so I'm not going to cover a whole lot of them. But basically this right here, this is going to be another tutorial. This is how to automate industrial centrifuges. And this thing right here works, but I have a pop gate right here. Now let me show you how this works. I right click it and you see this interface pops up. This is an iron ore gate, so I have two conditions. I'm only using one condition, so my condition is if the pipe is empty, put out a redstone signal. And so as you can see right here, this is a wooden pipe, and you can see there's 3 engines on it just like you normally have, but there's no redstone torches or levers or anything. This pipe gate is powering up the engine. So what happens is whenever it detects that there's nothing in the pipe, it'll put out a redstone signal, the engine switch on, and they fill the pipe up, and this pipe gate switches off because then there is something in the pipe. So what the purpose of this is just to keep you from flooding the system with goods, because that can lag the server out. So I don't want a million items going through that pipe. So what this thing is doing is putting empty cells into all these industrial centrifuges. And so once they're all full, I don't want a whole million of them just circulating around. So what it does, since there's 3 engines, it's going to put out 3 empty cells. If there's no valid destination, it'll come back in the chest. But I'm only putting one item, I'm sorry, 3 items in the pipe at a time, so it doesn't really lag the server. So that's a very good use for it. I also have the same setup over here, and that was for the empty cells. Over here, you can see the same setup. There's another pipe. It's programmed the exact same way. Now this chest right here is feeding bauxite dust into the tops of the machines, and so when all the bauxite is full, it circulates and fills the chest back up. But anyway, that's just one basic gate. I'll do a tutorial on the gates fairly quickly, so just have a little patience on that. But anyway, that's the assembly table. It's very straightforward to use. It's kind of complicated to set up because you got to have engine stuff, but something to build, something fun, something cool. So this is Grumpy. We'll see you next time. Now I appreciate you liking my videos and all that. It really helps my channel, leaving comments, all that kind of stuff. Especially when you like a video, because when a video gets a lot of likes, I want to make more videos of that type, and it just helps my channel too. But anyway, this is Grumpy. We'll see you next time.